Hello everyone, my name is Lance and this is my take on how you should build and prioritize investment into your Scaramouche aka Wanderer. He is the latest husband to join the Genshin Impact family, and it is my pleasure to bring to you a simple and concise guide for you guys to refer to whenever you need. All these slides will be published in my Discord server for ease of access. Link is in the description. Without further ado, let's get to the video. So first things first, let's have a look at his talents. So he's one of the very few characters where you do not want to prioritize his burst. His elemental skill and basic attack adds to his kit more. If you've seen the character gameplay, you've seen that his main damage source is from basic attacking and his elemental skill. So definitely those are the priority. As mentioned, you should prioritize his elemental skill as the number one talent to ascend, second being the normal attack, and the burst is mostly for a combo reset, or if you want to fling enemies into the sky, that it works too. So I recommend a talent investment of 998. You can go 999 or triple crown, so you see fit, but to my eyes, this is the most efficient talent ascension to invest into Scaramouche. But of course, 999 is preferred. Next, we're going to the artifact. So the new artifact is tailored for his style of play. So there is no surprise that the new artifact will be his best set for now. Before testing goes out, this is my keen observation. So with any standard DPS, you want to go attack, anemo, crit rate or crit damage depending on what you need more. I would recommend upwards of 80% crit rate because he is going to be shooting individual shots, so you definitely want to get as much crit as possible, but you can also go for the 50-300 if you feel confident that you can deal as much damage as you want. So EM doesn't really synergize with his kit, but because you'll be swirling, it could aid a little bit in some damage, but it's very minor. So I would say crit rate, crit damage and attack should be focused. Energy recharge, it does not require a lot, especially if you have Feruzan. So 4-piece Desert Pavilion is his best set. I would say it's a tie between 2-piece Anemo and 2-piece Anemo attack. But I'm sure in the long run, 2-piece Anemo will be the second best set on him, third being the 2-piece Anemo and attack. So for growth materials, we're going to need the Rukashava mushrooms, which are available throughout Sumeru. We have the Aeon Blight Drake drops, and we have the one of the Scaramouche boss drops, which is no surprise, he would definitely get materials from himself. Selfish bugger. So farming materials, so we have the Fatui emblems, the Guide to Praxis, and the Anemo Hypostasis Magokenki Anemo stone drops. So I'm going to split this guide. I think this is a good point to talk about this, where there will be a shorter and a longer version. So if you're a lazy bum like me, you can just watch the short version. But if you want to know a little bit more about Scaramouche detail, do take a look at the longer version. So at the bottom there I have a example of one of his speculated best lineups based on the beta test, which is Bennett, Xingqiu, Feruzan and Scaramouche, of course. So we're going to move to the next section now. So next section we're going to be talking about the weapons. So this is for DPS Scaramouche. I don't think there's any other way to play him unless you want to run sub DPS, but I think his kit is more towards DPS. So you have Tule Tula's Remembrance. So this is his signature weapon, gives a whopping 674.3 attack and 44 crit damage. So the crit damage value is lower in exchange for insane attack. It has the same attack value as a Skyward Atlas, which is pretty high. So the passive, it gives you 10% normal attack speed, and after launching an E skill, your normal attack damage increases by 4.8 for 14 seconds, and after you normal attack an enemy, this is further increased by 9.6 up to a cap of 48%. and this buffs resets after your E skill goes down. So this weapon actually really synergizes with Scaramouche himself. As for other characters, I'm not too sure, but if you really want to get the best value out of Scaramouche, definitely get his signature weapon. It has the maximum synergy and insane ratios, and the high base attack makes it a very strong weapon. So some of you might be thinking, what are the relevant or possible alternatives? So the first actually is thanks to a YouTuber called Coinzel. I managed to get some of the calculations from his side. Once again, credits to him. Lost Prayer is actually the second best weapon for him. So Lost Prayer gives you 608 attack and 33.1 crit rate. Sorry, that's crit rate, not crit damage. Passive increase your move speed by 10, which doesn't really affect too much but helps when you're in the air, and grants you 8 elemental damage bonus every 4 seconds, stacking up to 32. So throughout the buff duration, you'll probably get at most the third tick, but more likely not consistently, you're getting the second tick. So you're getting 16 elemental damage bonus, which is already more than Kagura Verity. That's why this weapon is actually more in tune with the kit. Also, it provides you with crit rate, which is very good, because you're probably going to be putting a crit damage circlet on Scaramouche anyway, unless you have an insane crit rate circlet, then God bless you. But if not, this is the strongest alternative, providing the most insane synergy with him as a 5-star weapon. Also, you can, if you have multiple Lost Prayers like a certain viewer of mine, then definitely this is a good chance to refine your Lost Prayer, because the higher refinements on Lost Prayer, the more added value it is. And Lost Prayer at R5 has 0 to 2% more efficiency than Too Late to Lost Remembrance. So for those of you who have stacking Lost Prayer, this is your chance to use it. Skyward Atlas is the voted free-to-play option. So a lot of my free-to-plays in my server actually voted for this. Between this, Black Cliff Agate, and Dodoko Tales. So the reason is that Dodoko Tales is an event weapon, so some people might not get it, and Black Cliff is too expensive. So out of all the weapons, this is probably the one that you most likely have in your bag. So it gives you 684 attack and increased attack percentage, and it gives you 12% elemental damage bonus, and then your normal attacks have a 50% chance to trigger an additional attack, dealing 160% of your attack to nearby enemies. It's a pretty good alternative. It's not the best weapon in the market, but definitely pretty good. Alternatives would be Solar Pearl, Dodoko Tales. So Solar Pearl at R5 is actually very strong, but not as strong as Lost Prayers. That's why it's in the third slot. So next, we're going to be looking at the passive skills. So I actually have a slide for the skills, which will be coming up later. But for now, let's quickly look at his passive. So if his elemental skill passive is affected by Hydro, Pyro, Cryo, or Electro, in your wind favored state, gain buffs. So Hydro, you gain fly stamina points plus 20, which is your Kukiryuken Hadouken points. For Pyro, you get attack plus 30%. For Cryo, you get crit rate plus 20%, which is very strong. And for Electro, you get normal and charge attack, generate 0.8 energy every 0.2 seconds. So I would say out of all the buffs, the Hydro and the Cryo are the most glaring strong buffs. The Pyro is also very good if you're lacking attack in your kit. And since its whole kit scales with attack, very good either way. Next, you have the Gales of Reverie. While in Elemental skill, gain 16% chance to obtain Descent passive. Your next dash, or when you accelerate, will not consume fly stamina and instead fire 4 wind arrows, dealing 35% of your attack as NMO damage. And of course, his best passive, the one that makes him truly Raiden's son, Bow and Catalyst minus 50% cost. Best passive in the game. I stand by it. Anything that saves you Mora is OP. Alright, so I actually wanted to bring up the in-game descriptions, but better not. I don't want to get permaban. So we're looking at Project Ember. Credits to Project Ember for getting this material. It's a good source of information, chat. So if you guys want to look for infos on early character releases, here's the place to go. So normal attack, Yuban Megan. So consumes a certain amount of stamina to build up wind pressure and deals AoE animal. That's his charge. His normal is 3 wind blades. And then plunging attack, he deals animal, so it's nothing too surprising. You can see the multipliers over here, very good. One hit deals 183 at 15, but we probably won't reach 15, so let's look at 10. 135, that's actually very high for attack multiplier. And it's pretty good. So where he shines is here, the Hanega Song of Wind. So concentrates the power of wind to break free from the shackles of the earth and start flying. And then you deal AoE animal damage before flying. This is when you pick up the elements for your buff. And this is a wind favored state. Cannot perform plunging in this state. When he used normal charge attack, they'll be converted into Kugo Fushudan and Kugo Tofukai respectively. The damage they deal and the AoE will be increased, and the damage will be considered normal and charge attack damage respectively. Kogu Tofukai will not consume stamina. The Wanderer will hover persistently and then consuming the Kyugo Ryoku Hadoken Pikachu points in the hovering state. And when sprinting, additional Kyugo Ryoku points will be consumed. And the Wanderer will accelerate in mid-air. And then once you run out of Kyugo Ryoku or you burst, it will end the wind favored state. So your steel damage, this is bread and butter for Scaramouche. So you definitely want to get this max as much as possible. Next, Kyogen 5 Ceremonial Plates. Compresses the atmosphere into a singular vacuum that grinds all troubles away, dealing multiple instances of AoE. So it's basically his Tomb. It does a crazy amount of damage, but it will probably be a combo breaker for most people right before swapping out. So the focus are on these two skills. Alright. Next we have cons. So this was a section actually requested by my viewers. So C1, if you notice the Hutao background is very aesthetic. I'm so sorry I didn't change it, but it's okay. We're gonna roll with it. So when in wind favored state, attack speed plus 10%. Wind arrows from passive talent deal additional 25% attack. So this is from this talent. So instead of dealing 35, it deals a total of 60%, which is a lot, a massive increase. But is it worth the extra possible loss 50-50? I do not think so. When in wind favored, burst deals additional 4% for every point of flying stamina missing, max to 200%. This is a very strong C2. I must say this is a very strong C2, but does it add to his kit? Because your burst isn't your main focus of damage. So I'm not too sure, but for me, I think this is an unnecessary constellation, but it's good if you're utilizing his burst for your combos and you really want more damage on it. C3, increase your burst by 3 levels. C4, when casting your E skill, gain a random untriggered buff from Jade Flame Flower. So let's say you trigger the Hydro, you can trigger your Pyro or your Cryo or your Electro alongside, and you can trigger a maximum of 3 of this buff at the same time. And these counters are independent. So I would say you would be using a maximum of 2. Because once you reset, your whole combo will need to reset. So maybe 2. I highly doubt you will really go to 3. So the value of the C4 is okay. Because it's random, it's could be gacha for value. So I wouldn't take it. C5, increase your E skill by 3 levels. Okay. So C6, when in wind favored, deal additional instances of Kugo Fushudan. So this is your normal attack in your flying state. So you can think of it similar to Sino's E-Burst when you launch extra dust blades. So this one you're launching extra attack with deal 40% of your attack. And when the Wanderer's flying stamina points is less than 40, you gain 4 points and you gain extra points every 0.2 seconds for a maximum of 5 times. So this basically increases your damage uptime. Is it a good C6? It's so-so at best. It's not the best C6, but it's definitely usable. Alright, next we're going to be looking at Abyss lineups. So once again, credits to Coinzel for giving me one of the Abyss lineups, and I got the other lineups from collection of beta testers. So I will personally be testing Scaramouche as well once he come out. So let's see whether he lives up to the hype of these teams. So the first team is a standard buff shred team. So you have Bennett and Xingqiu. Two standard characters for a majority of teams. Then you have Faruzan. So Faruzan, if you have C0 and C6, is a massive difference. It's not massive that it will break the game, but it means a lot to Scaramouche dealing damage over time. So, but most likely or not, we're going to be using a C0 Faruzan. So we just look at it from that perspective. So Bennett can use any weapon. I would personally use attack buffing item. So probably Aquila for Vonia. Xingqiu will of course use sacrificial. Faruzan can use any weapon. If you want to deal damage with Faruzan, you can deal damage with a damage weapon. If not, you can use energy recharge weapon to battery Scara. And Scaramouche will use one of the 3, 4, 5, 6 weapons that I listed in the weapon section. So your combo is Xingqiu QE, Bennett QE. So the reason why you put Bennett after Xingqiu is because you want Bennett to boost Faruzan. Faruzan E auto Q, and then Scara E, and then once his combo finish, you Q. So the premium buff shred team is the same as the standard buff shred team, except that you have Yalan, who deals infinitely more damage than Xingqiu over time. So Yalan, you would want to use Aqua Simulacra, but if you have other DPS item like Slingshot or stat sticks, like the Fading Twilight, that will do as well. Faruzan will use any weapon depending on your style of play and what your team needs, because everybody has different teams and different energy requirements and different skills on rotation. Use what you need, and then Scara. So Yalan QE, same thinking, for you want to boost Faruzan's damage with Bennett. Then Bennett QE, Faruzan E auto Q, and then Scara E combo then Q. Next you have a melt team. So we have Rosaria to actually boost the crit rate as well as introduce Cryo. So if you want to pull up Cryo, you can, but it's very unlikely because more likely not you're going to pull Bennett anyway. So Rosaria QE, Bennett QE boosting to Faruzan, E auto Q, Scara E combo Q. Yep. And Rosaria can hold any weapon. If you want to hold a crit rate weapon to maximize the crit rate value, you can. Or not, if you want her to do damage, you can use a damage weapon. It depends on what you seek out of the team. But for me, if I'm running this team, Scarum should be my major DPS. So I'll probably use them all for support and utilize all their passive one by one. Next we have similar to the Melt team, but instead using the newest character, Layla. So this is a team brought up by Coinzel as a hyper damage team. He was doing this in comparison with Arataki Ito. So Bennett can use any weapon. Layla preferably use Favonius according to Coinzel. Faruzan can use any weapon, and Scaramouche can use any of the signature weapon. So I'm not saying that Coinzel said that, that's just my interpretation of his info. Coinzel, if I said something wrong, please school me in the comments. Or anybody that is familiar with his work, please school me in the comments. Because we are all here to learn together. It's okay if we make mistakes. Bennett E, Faruzan E, Layla QE, Bennett Q, Faruzan Q, Scara combo. So the reason why Bennett E and Faruzan E first is because you want to drop the maximum amount of damage in this combo. So Bennett E drop damage, burn, and then Faruzan E auto, and then Layla QE trigger melt, and then the shield, Bennett Q to boost, Faruzan Q, and then Scaramouche full combo. So that is the idea behind it. Of course, there are plenty of other teams you can explore with Scaramouche, and nothing is going to stop you from exploring. So I hope you guys have a interesting experience with the latest character to join the Genshin Impact family. If you like this video or you dislike it, drop a like or dislike. I honestly do not mind criticism. I want to improve my content so that I can give better content to you guys. If you enjoy any section of this video, or you feel any section of this video is redundant, let me know down in the comments. And as always, I love you guys, take care, and I'll see you guys in the next video. That's all from me. Bye bye. Wait, I forgot. Don't forget to subscribe.